Hi, my name is Kane Wheatley-Holder. I am a screenwriter and I've been writing in Singapore professionally for around 8 to 9 years. But as with most writers, I've been writing pretty much my whole life. Probably when I was 8 years old and I watched Jurassic Park for the first time, which blew my mind. I remember going back and being obsessed with that movie, like watching it 1,000 times. After the Jurassic Park obsession, I wrote an article, I think, for my school. Essentially, it was about what's the difference between a herbivore and a carnivore. I wrote about how T-Rex love meat and how Triceratops they love to eat plants. But I said dinosaurs that eat plants are called carnivores, and the herbivores are the ones that ate meat, which was totally wrong definition. Surprisingly, my school still decided to print it, and I still have it today. So I'm still pleased with it, even though the content is totally wrong. I've been writing for as long as I can remember, but I think when I took it more seriously was when I entered Polytechnic, and that's when I realized that this is what I wanted to do, and more importantly, I wanted to do it for a living. I started to go for internships. My first job, I think I was a production assistant at Infinite Frameworks. I was even an actor at one point. I did a Starhub advert. After that, I kept working in different production houses. Most recently, I worked at a preschool channel here in Singapore. It was an international channel teaching children about animals, and they did it through puppetry, a little bit like Sesame Street. It was the first time I'd ever written for preschool, and I learned a lot of different writing techniques there. How when you write for kids, it's very, very different from when you write to adults. And then since then, I've been kind of like spreading my wings in different areas. Writing for film, for short films, for corporates, for YouTube, and a host of other different kind of channels. Surprisingly, the best advice I think I've received was through a YouTube video, and it was by an author called Anne Rice. She wrote Interview with a Vampire, which is also a great movie. She said in one of her vlogs, to be a great writer, you should do one of two things, and that's either you go where the pain is, or you go where the pleasure is. And that really struck a chord with me, because she said that usually as writers, sometimes we're afraid to go really in depth into a topic, whether it be about love, or death, or loss, or ambition. And so she said that that should be kind of your guiding compass. Whenever you write a scene, whether you write a story, always go where the pain is, or go where the pleasure is. And usually when you go to that place and you explore it, and you be brave, and unveil it, really great ideas and moments come out of that. You don't realize it when you start, but the more you do it, the more difficult it becomes, until you are on the floor wondering what you've done with your life. Like, it's that difficult. It's hard. You know why? Because it's a creative endeavor, and it's such a huge one, because writing is about trying to understand who we are, as a species, why we do the things we do. But that's the fun of it too, that's the challenge. So it's this kind of amorphous process that you can't really define, but once it's done well, and once you really grasp what it is you're trying to say, oh well, magic happens. For me, there are three main ways. Number one, you really have to write. Just write. Carve out that time, sit down, and no matter how you're feeling, just do it. Because the more you write, the better you become. For me, it's almost like being an athlete. You have to really practice. You have to get down and dirty, and you have to, practice the way you say things, your craft, and it will pay off eventually. The second one is you have to read. Read as widely as you can. Read local authors, read screenwriting books, read scripts themselves, don't forget scripts, and also just read as widely as you can. The more I absorb, I become like a sponge, the more then I can put into my own work. And then lastly, the third thing is writers groups. Writers associations like the Screenwriters Association of Singapore, they provide invaluable insights into the craft, into the industry. You also get to network with veterans of the industry, and also young people too that are just joining the industry. And you get to exchange ideas, you get to exchange projects, you get to work together to create something even better. Just being in an environment with passionate people will make you a better writer. Hello, and thank you so much for being a part of this Writers Talk episode with me, Kane. Stay tuned for more great episodes. Keep watching, and I'll hope to see you soon.